Welcome into the Farzy Show, everybody. Mark Farzetta with you here from the Steven Singer Studios. Farzy Show presented as always by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Ben Simmons looks like a clown. Joel Embiid looks like a warrior. And Angel Hernandez looks like a horrible umpire as a walking, talking endorsement for robotic umps. That's what I'm calling for. I'll tell you that much. But welcome into the show. Look forward to talking to you fine people about what's going to happen today in the world of sports. And also Alaa Abdelnaby, Sixers expert, Sixers color analyst extraordinaire. Alaa Abdelnaby will be joining us coming up just momentarily to react to all the news in basketball, which is the headline. Phillies bats were absolutely silent last night, despite what you want to say about the strike zone. But the Phillies and the Sixers are what people are talking about today. We'll be talking about this week until Thursday, when the NFL draft kicks off. And the Eagles, hopefully, I think, make 2 selections in the first round, and both of them are defensive. And let's make that happen, Howie. Let's make that happen. Let's start it off, though, with the 76ers, because news comes over the weekend that Joel Embiid has a torn ligament in his thumb, and he needs surgery. But instead of having surgery, Joel Embiid is saying, I'll play. I don't give a damn. I'll play. Just like he did in Game 3. He did not look good. Let's call it what it is. Joel Embiid did not look good. He didn't look great, his normal great self, and I couldn't help but think this isn't good for the Sixers when it comes to what JoJo looked like in this particular game. If I had to guess, and this is around halftime that I had this thought, he was playing maybe at 75%. I know people always talk about the percentages. Oh, 90% and 90% of Joel Embiid is better than 100% of whatever. He's like at 75%. And that's not a knock on him. That's more of praise, because when he is healthy, he's the MVP of the league as far as I'm concerned. When he's not healthy, in this particular instance, this is a lot worse than the partially torn meniscus he had in last year's playoffs. The grand scheme of it all is going to do what it always does, which is depend on Joel Embiid and what he can bring to the table and how good he can be. The Sixers are going to ride or die with Joel Embiid, as they should. He's nothing close to 100%, and all of this is going to be about how he manages that pain and what he can and can't do because of it with that torn ligament in his thumb. So for me, I think they finish off this series with the Raptors tonight. I think they finish it off on their home court. If they don't, that's where worry kicks in just a little bit. Because as I said, they're ride or die with Joel Embiid. Now, hopefully you have other guys like James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris. Hopefully those guys step up and help fill the void that will be left behind by 25% less of Joel Embiid. That's what we hope to see tonight at 8 o'clock when they tip off the Raptors in Game 5. Alaa Abdelnaby will give us his take on the situation. But when I look at it, if I'm being real, the first thought I had when I heard about the injury, and then yesterday when Woj put it out there saying that Joel Embiid was going to get surgery after the season, my first thought was, damn, that sucks for Embiid, immediately followed by another second-round exit. Because there's no way, unless Joel Embiid figures out how to manage this pain, unless Joel Embiid knows how to manage how he's going to be limited because of the injury itself and what he can and can't do, and unless James Harden is going to be starting to drop 30 points a game and Tobias Harris is going to get to 25 or Tyrese Maxey is going to get to 25, however that's going to work out when it comes to scoring, however that's going to work out when it comes to defensive ability, Joel Embiid's defensive impact on the game is huge. Let's not forget that either. And in a series against the Heat, a series against the Celtics, whoever they might face down the line in the playoffs, let's not act like getting 25% less of the MVP is going to be anything better for the Sixers team. But the way I looked at it was whoever they match up with in the second round, because I'm saying they win this series. I'm saying they lock it up tonight. But whoever they face in the next round is going to exploit the hell out of this. And unless Joel Embiid can somehow magically learn how to be even 90% of the player that he was, unless he can do that, this Sixers team is going to be looking at another second-round exit. And is it another example of this is why we can't have nice things? Yeah, it certainly feels like that. But this is where you're going to need some other guys on this team to make sure they can carry that workload. But here's what is impressive. How much attention Joel Embiid was still getting in Game 4 against the Toronto Raptors. and how much contact he was drawing, and he kept getting back up. He kept on fighting. That's what you want to see from him. And I was thinking about this. Like, with all this stuff that goes on with Ben Simmons, and we'll get into that, like, we used to look at Joel Embiid, and we used to see the potential. And we used to get so pissed off at how out of shape he was. I never called him fat because, like, I can't call Joel Embiid fat. Like, of all the things you can be a hypocrite about, you know, that's one of them. I'm not going to go there. But of all the things that he's been able to do throughout his career and consistently improve and then get in great shape, and the way he's played the last 2 years has been phenomenal. It's led to one injury or another. And the one we've watched last year was the torn meniscus. He still was able to play really well on that. And yes, he had turnovers, but the offense was always run through him last year. And he had to get no help from his other star, quote unquote, in Ben Simmons, as we all know. But now you're talking about a guy who has a torn ligament in his thumb and can't handle the basketball like he used to. That's ultimately, it's not just going to come about pain, it's about physically, even if there was no pain, what he could do with the strength of that hand, because guys are going to be attacking it. And even though the Raptors were throwing everything at him again, he was still getting back up, and he was still fighting. He was still that warrior. And we used to talk about a lazy guy, right, that was wearing that jersey for the Sixers. That guy does not exist anymore, and he hasn't existed for quite a long time. And Joel Embiid said something a couple of years ago that I think about a lot whenever an injury comes up with him. He's missed a lot of basketball. The first 2 years of his NBA career, most notably, and then a lot of his third. Joel Embiid's missed a lot of basketball, and he's acknowledged that. And he said, I don't want a short career. I want a long career. So if there are opportunities for me to play through something now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play through it. I.e., torn meniscus last year. I.e., this thumb injury he has this year. And he's going to keep on battling. I'm going to be there, as I know a lot of you guys are going to be there as well, rooting him on in terms of maybe they can still do it. Maybe he can still bounce back. Maybe he can still be the guy that we had seen him be, play at that MVP caliber level. I just don't have my hopes up high for it. My expectation for the Sixers is a second-round elimination. I am now going to root to be wrong in that scenario, as I've done so many times, while I try to be real but maintain excitement for this basketball team. And I still am excited. I want to see what James Harden. Hey, can you say challenge accepted? Tobias Harris, can you say challenge accepted? Tyrese Maxey. Paul Reed, DeAndre Jordan, whoever's going to be getting more minutes from this point on. Challenge accepted, please. Please accept the challenge. Aside from the injury aspect of everything with Joel Embiid, the man's just always entertaining. No matter what he's got going on, the man is always entertaining. Joel Embiid, after the Raptors game, after the game 4, I'm watching. I'm pissed off, right? I did miss that birthday party, that 3-year-old's birthday party. I feel terrible about it, but I mean, the game was at 2. The party was at 4:30. The game was still going on. I got to watch post-game stuff. Like, I can't miss that. So, little Toots had a wonderful time, though. Mom took her. It was great. But I'm sitting there. I'm watching the end of that game, and I'm watching Joel Embiid do the little golf clap. I'm like, what is he doing? And then in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you see this, like, balding head. I can say it, I'm bald. Balding head go, like, flash across the screen. I was like, was that an official? Is he staring at the He's staring at the officials. He's sarcastically clapping the refs' the refs' effort and job they did in this game 4. And I laughed, thought it was hilarious. And then I thought about possible retribution. I'm like, to hell with it. Like, I'm more worried about Joel Embiid's hand than I am anything else. And then he goes to the post-game press conference, because it was said on the broadcast that Joel Embiid was applauding the Raptors' effort. And I'm like, I'm not so sure that was about the Raptors' effort. And then he walks by Pascal Siakam, and there's, like, no exchange. So, like, even if he was applauding their effort, he would have said something to Pascal Siakam. He didn't. He just was applauding the refs sarcastically. So after the game, Joel Embiid gets asked about it, and if you haven't heard this yet, it's just strictly brilliant. This is Joel Embiid when he was asked about his golf clap to the officials after the game. I'm going to take my own advice and not complain about fouls, but, like I was doing at the end of the game, they did a great job. I admire the job that they did today. To me, it felt like
they had one job, coming in here tonight, and they got it done. So congrats to them.
Can I infer that the job was to make sure there's a game 5?
I don't know, but you can. I really don't know what I'm talking about, but you can figure it out.
Sure.
But they did a great job. I'm not going. Like I said, I'm going to take my own advice and not complain about it. I guess next game, if they're not going to call it, I'm going to be even more aggressive, offensively and defensively. And if they want to give them, like fouls, or if they want to call, really no fouls, really got to make them earn it.
That's our guy. That's our guy, Joel Embiid. I loved it. And you know what it said to me more than anything? Two things. One, it said, I don't give a damn anymore. We all know the BS. Coaches would get fined for ripping referees. Now you guys are rewarding him in Nick Nurse. You're giving him exactly what he wants. Because even with Joel Embiid and this thumb injury, they still need the refs on their side, the Toronto Raptors. Big time in order to have a shot at winning this series, or at least another game or two at winning this series. And a shot at forcing a game 7. I don't even want to say that. But he knows there's going to be no retribution. The bar has been set. Now they're coming back to Philadelphia. Yeah, go ahead. Good luck to you making those calls here in Philadelphia. Good luck. Let's see if that home cooking works a little bit better in South Philadelphia than it does north of the border. Let's see how that works out. Now, the other thing that's, I think, far more important than any of the drama of clapping or whatever is the motivation for Joel Embiid. One of the most comforting things from that post-game press conference of all of them was Joel Embiid talking about the possibility of not getting the foul calls and only being more aggressive and playing stronger basketball and using it as motivation to be better, even with the thumb injury. Just the fact that he can acknowledge or talk about going to another level despite not being anything close to 100%. I'm only going to be more aggressive. Man, you got torn ligaments. You need surgery, dude. You need surgery. And here he is like, yeah, to hell with that. I just want to play more aggressive. Go ahead and don't give me foul calls. It'll just make me keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. And as long as that keep pushing and keep on trying doesn't lead to turnovers and trying to do too much, then I'm fine with it. But it really comes down to not just the mental fortitude of trying to overcome an injury, but physically what you're limited to be able to do in a series or in a game in this particular instance when it comes to that thumb injury. So as long as he's not pushing it in that regard and turning the basketball over to him, he had 5 in this game. Then I'm fine with it. But I just hope Joel Embiid keeps on pushing and keeps on doing what I think we all know he can do, which is play at an MVP caliber level. So Sixers tip off tonight. I think they wrap it up tonight against the Raptors, and they move on to the second round of the playoffs. And then we cross our fingers to see what version of Joel Embiid we're going to be able to get, limited with this injury, as much as he might be or not. So that's what we got on the Sixers. There's another guy that we got to talk about for just a second. Now, while Joel Embiid is going through all this and working his ass off and pushing himself and applauding officials and still getting 20 points despite playing with one hand, there's this guy. This guy used to play in Philadelphia. His name is Ben Simmons. And when he was at LSU, the knock on him was, sometimes he looks a little like he doesn't care about basketball. Doesn't care about basketball. Come on, this guy's going to be a number 1 pick. You stop it with he doesn't care about basketball. And then he became a Sixer. He said he didn't play his rookie year because of an injury. And then he scored 1 point in a playoff game against the Celtics. Didn't shoot from the outside, wouldn't shoot from the outside. We post videos about him shooting from the outside, wouldn't do it. Then he never shot from the outside. Then he passed the Thibault. And then he quit on the team despite the coach kissing his damn ass all season. And then he eventually got traded. And the rumors were he's going to play in Game 4. He's not playing in Game 4 anymore. Rumors were he's going to play in Game 3 or Game 4. He's not. He never played for the Nets. He's not going to play for the Nets this year. This is Ben Simmons. If all the things I just said were made into a costume to put onto a person, this is the costume. Homie the Clown. Except this Homie the Clown messes around. What is this? What are you wearing? What are the John Lennon sunglasses? What is going on? Dude does not give a damn about the game of basketball. Not even a little bit. Like, if anyone has had any issue with their back ever in their life, they know backs can be a fickle thing. If you've met anyone ever that's had a back issue, you know that backs can be a fickle thing. This is a professional athlete, believe it or not. They are evaluated by doctors constantly, and all of a sudden he wakes up with more soreness ahead of game 3 and 4. Or excuse me, ahead of game 4, and he's not going to play. Are you kidding me? First off, the idea that he was going to play in game 4 was hilarious to me. You know why? I'll tell you. Because this guy, if he plays in game 4, then he's either the savior of the series with great defensive play. He can only look good in a game. And if he does come in, there's basically nothing to lose. That's why I thought it was like, oh, he could play in game 4. Oh, really? Really? When everybody else is focusing on Kyrie or KD being shut out and it was completely blocked out of a game by the Celtics defense, he's the guy that's going to come in here and play savior. Oh, I'll show you defense. Great. Yeah. If anything, Ben Simmons really has that hero gene. Let me tell you. Oh, he can play in game 4. Oh, really? When they're probably out of it already, and he can play the role of attempted savior? Yeah, okay. I'm sure. Yeah, let me see. Let me watch that happen, please. Our friend Michael Kasky Blowmain, by the way. I was dying at this. Here it is. Michael, I thought, had a hilarious line here when the trade didn't work out. Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and Ben Simmons. And I believe Andre Drummond, as I joked about before, Andre Drummond, I believe, just met Ben Simmons when Ben Simmons was traded to the Nets with him. So I think that's how that went down. But great job there, my friend of the show, Michael Kasky Blowmain. I honestly feel like an idiot. I mean, I was one of those people that was just like giving him the benefit of the doubt. You know what? He does these other things. So these other things great. Then you just see if it happens. And this was last year was the year I wanted really to be. Well, actually, no, this year was the year I wanted to push to come to shove, where he was either going to learn to shoot or he wasn't, and then you move on from him from that point on. And that he decided for you. And I think he decided individually to just move on from the game of basketball. I would not have a problem if I never have to watch Ben Simmons attempt to play basketball. And the knock on him at LSU to today is the guy loves what basketball brings him, but doesn't love basketball. And that's something that is a tale as old as time. Andrew Bynum is what that is. But at least Andrew Bynum had like one really, really good year all around, offensively and defensively. But good Lord, man. So, yeah, the Nets, they wrap up their series tonight. I believe they have a 7 o'clock tip-off tonight against the Celtics, and that series could finally come to a close tonight. And then we don't see Ben Simmons dressed like that for the foreseeable future. So that's nice. That's a nice thing that people can look at. Before I get into the Phillies, though, I do want to get into a little bit of the umpiring situation because I'm all for the robot umpires. And last night, Celtics Nets at 7 o'clock tonight in Brooklyn. I'm all for robot umpires. And for a long time, I was against it, and it was purist and all that stuff. And then it was like, well, they're going to get the DH in the National League, so I should just stop being a purist and say they're going to get the DH in the National League. It actually makes more sense. So they should just do that, so do it. And then they also had before that replay coming into baseball, and I was like, I never thought I'd see that. And we got replay. Now they got digital buttons. They got buttons to push to talk to the pitcher and tell them what pitch they want next. That's interesting. Okay, wow, really embracing technology in baseball. Is sport as old as hell. That's great, good for them. And now I'm like, now it's time for robot umpires. That was the evolution in me not being a purist anymore. Angel Hernandez last night was atrocious. The pitch that almost hit Gene Segura, to call it inside is an understatement, but the pitch tracker immediately had it out of the strike zone. They replayed it with the actual tracker, and it was so far inside. There were a number of occasions where you're looking throughout this baseball game with Angel Hernandez going, he is watching this game. Like, is he paying attention? Like, if the guy wears glasses, better prescription. Like, every cliche you could roll out about umpires not being able to see anything was applicable last night. And I only thought that Joe Girardi was just a matter of time before he came trotting out of the dugout to go yelling and screaming about Angel Hernandez. And it never happened. It didn't happen, actually, anything close to it. It didn't happen until KYLE SCHWARBER lost his mind in the 9th inning. And I am shocked it took somebody that long. Both sides were complaining about the umpiring. We're complaining about balls and strikes. And there was only one instance, and I want to say it was it was after Gene Segura's at bat, where Joe Girardi, instead of storming out onto the field to argue balls and strikes, it looked like he turned around, walked up the tunnel out of the dugout to most likely watch where those pitches fell. But both sides, Andrew McCutcheon even acknowledged it after the game when he was asked by SportsCenter on ESPN in postgame, because the game was on ESPN last night. Andrew McCutcheon, now a Brewer, by the way, for those that haven't been following. Andrew McCutcheon is fielding questions in the postgame, and they say, hey, KYLE SCHWARBER's reaction, was that speaking for both sides? And Andrew McCutcheon goes, yeah, and probably the fans too. Like, both dugouts understood what was going on. And there's got to be a point, man, where you just almost stop the game and be like, I don't know what you're watching, but everybody here thinks that's not a strike. None of us, unfortunately, matter. You're the umpire, and you're doing a horrible job today. So get your you-know-what together and figure out a better way to call a better game, because that was embarrassing last night for umpires. Umpires today are talking trash on Angel Hernandez. This guy's going to get us up with robot umpires. Thanks, Angel. I couldn't believe it. It was that bad. Is it why the Phillies lost? No, I'm not bringing it up as to why the Phillies lost. Phillies lost because they couldn't hit anyway. Like, even with that strike zone, trying to protect the play was impossible. But the Brewers had the same awful strike zone. I'm not bringing this up. I'm not bringing this up to talk about, oh, this is why the Phillies lost. It's not my point at all. My point is, we can't continue to have an umpire call a strike a ball and a ball a strike when we have the technology literally right there in the moment showing us that he's wrong. And it's not only right there at that exact moment, they cut away to another screen that shows even more wrong, how even more wrong the umpire was. How long are we going to go on with this insanity? Oh, my God. I hate that I am for robot umpires now. But Angel Hernandez, by golly, you sold me, my friend. You sold me on him. Hi, this is Angel Hernandez for robot umpires. Robot umpires are needed because guys like me can't see anything. Robot umpires. Walking, talking endorsement of robot umpires. Angel Hernandez. Other than that, it'd be really nice if like Rhys Hoskins could hit a baseball. that'd be swell. Strike zone or not, Angel Hernandez has not been behind the plate for all of Rhys Hoskins at bats this year. So let's get that going a little bit. And I do love that at least finally somebody blew a guy. KYLE SCHWARBER's gasket being blown yesterday. That was the best eruption I can remember since replay. Replay, I'll take the fun out of the game, argue with the umpire. Well, not for KYLE SCHWARBER last night. He was all over. That was movie scene quality eruption from KYLE SCHWARBER yesterday. You call it over here, call over here, call it up here, call it down here, and everywhere. Here's up. And he walked away. It was great. It was great. It was a thing of beauty is what it was. A thing of beauty. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, Phillies now start a series with the Colorado Rockies. They're back in town. They got Kyle Freeland on the bump tonight against Kyle Gibson. 6:45 start time. Great start time. Watch the beginning of the Phillies, roll over the Sixers. It's going to be a nice night. Let me tell you guys about the great people at Destination Retirement, particularly my man Mike Seibert. He's a retirement income certified professional at Destination Retirement LLC, a partner of 1847 Financial, and an advisor for Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies fans only. Maybe next year, Flyers. When it comes, hey, they won back-to-back games. Let's party. When it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up the current enjoyment of your income? The answer is to have income streams in retirement. It only makes sense then to understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Is the objective to get to the top of the mountain, or is the objective to get to the top of the mountain and then safely back down the mountain? Going up the mountain is your accumulation phase, and going back down the mountain is your distribution phase. And these are the two different phases of your financial life. Each should be addressed separately. This month, let's talk about college planning. We all know that college is expensive. Have you ever thought about how it will affect your retirement? Let Mike show you a way, an efficient way, to help pay for your kids' college and still retire on your own terms. Your first step is to avoid starting your growth cycle over by depleting accounts like 529s for big expenses like college. You don't want to lose position on your growth cycle and have to start over. You can't get that time back. Instead, set yourself up with the ability to use vehicles that can make that you can take money out of without starting your growth cycle over again. Find out your annual retirement savings. Find out how it can help your college savings and how your college savings can help your annual retirement savings. Mike will set up your own portal and retirement analyzer, then use the software to help you navigate through the different phases of your financial life. For questions or to set up a meeting with Mike, email him at gobirds@1847financial.com. That's gobirds@1847financial.com. Hopefully we're still saying that after Thursday. And you also you can call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit his website at destinationretirement.com. As always, go Birds and play the song. Let me tell you about my man Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. And right now, Steven's got an absolutely incredible gift for Mother's Day. The creamsicle gold dip rose from Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, or IHateStevenSinger.com. Steven's got just what you need for Mother's Day, that beautiful creamsicle rose, peach petals that absolutely sparkle in the light, 24-karat gold dip rose. It is a beautiful thing. Remember those hot summer days Mom would run out a creamsicle to you? Take a break, relax for a second there. Show Mom how much you appreciate those little memories with this gorgeous creamsicle gold dip rose from Steven Singer Jewelers. Only available at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line and talk to our good friend Alaa Abdelnaby about what the Sixers are going to do right now, given the injury to Joel Embiid. Joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line, a man coming back to the show, the great Alaa Abdelnaby joining us here. What's going on there, Alaa?
Mark, great to be with you. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Are you kidding me? My pleasure, because I know that people say some people win Twitter. Well, you, my friend, got all the attention in the world when you posted this, admitting that you stared down all of Tirana after Joel Embiid's game-winning shot, and then I took the liberty to go ahead and circle your new profile pic with you turning around and taunting the crowd. What? Just walk me through that moment, please, my friend. When we had a better moment there with Joel Embiid winning it in overtime.
It was 2.5 hours in the making, man. This was not a spur of the moment thing. You guys at home could hear some of the stuff that was being said. We heard more because we were right there. And so I reverted back to being a player, man, like the smack talking part of me. When that shot went in, my instinct was just to turn around. Like, I don't know what made me do that. It's just maybe 2 hours of hearing all that chirping and wishing there was a way to silence them. And then when that came, I exploited it. I took advantage of it. But I had a great view, Mark, because they weren't necessarily mouths shut. They were more like gaped open and in shock. And I wish I had a mental picture of that right now, man. That's something that'll stay with me for a while.
Well, you got something better. You got a Twitter avatar now. That's how great that is. Well, at least of you, my friend. Now, speaking of things going on in this series with Joel Embiid, we know now about the torn ligament in his thumb. Apparently, it would require surgery, or does require surgery. Woj put this out on social media earlier in the day yesterday. Joel Embiid requires surgery to address the ligament tear, but he'll do that after the Sixers season. Any idea how painful that will be for Joe to keep on going and not get surgery just yet?
I listen, I can't tell you what it's like because I've never had it, but I can go back to when I've had jammed thumbs, jammed fingers, dislocated fingers. Those are things that don't overwhelm you with pain, but they annoy you with pain. They're just there. If you can think of, I know this is not an equal comparison, but think of like the worst hangnail you've ever had. It just annoys you. It's just there. This maybe times 100 for Joel because it's going to be painful, but it's not going to be the kind of pain that overwhelms your whole body. It's local, and he's just going to have to learn to live with it. The problem with it is we all know, and the opponents know, and they're going to be smacking and slapping on it, and he's just going to have to play through that.
So he was 7 of 9 from the free throw line in game 3. He didn't have his best night from the floor, but not his worst, 7 for 16. How much will this affect him, you think, shot-wise going forward?
I think it will affect his shot, but I don't think it'll affect his shot like we think it will. I think it'll bother him at the beginning when it's cold, but once he gets loosened up, I don't even know how they're going to treat it. Do they shoot it up with cortisone? I don't know what they'll do, but I know that warming it up and getting it loose will certainly help. But when he's at a hotel, when he's just off the floor, it's going to be stiff and it's going to hurt and it's going to throb.
Will the Sixers close this out, you think? Tonight? God, you hope so.
I hope so, Mark. I hope so. Because I don't want to think of a scenario where it's 3-2 and we have to go back up to Toronto. I'd rather finish it at Wells Fargo Center with our home crowd and then give ourselves some time off so Joel can rest, the rest of the guys can rest. The Sixers would do themselves well if they would win tomorrow.
Yeah, certainly. When it comes to this series, I mean, I remember the good old days, Alaa. Like, I remember watching you play. I remember watching you play again in Last Dance when you started in that, when you're behind Clyde Drexler in the layup line. I didn't miss it. But in all seriousness, when refs would be, like, when coaches would complain about refs, the coach would get fined. And it seems like Nick Nurse has been rewarded throughout this entire process. I can't remember anything to this level where a coach said what he said and then got rewarded for it. That's what it seemed like to me. What did it seem like to you?
I'm with you, brother. And I got a lot of people on Twitter that were giving me a lot of smack, if you will, because I was complaining. They felt I was complaining too much. And maybe I was. I'll give them that. But knowing what I know, having been around the league, you could almost tell by Nick's lobbying. I even mentioned the word lobby on the air. That it was going to have an effect. Phil Jackson used to do it because referees are human beings and they read newspapers too. And I just knew that there was going to be an overcompensation come game 3. And when you know it's coming and then you see it, it's frustrating. It's almost maddening because you know it shouldn't be that way. But yet it was. And yeah, that was tough. But Nick Nurse did his job. He fought for his team, and it worked.
Yeah, I keep on trying to think of it like, wow, do I hate Nick Nurse for this, or do I respect him more? Because, like, this is the only card he has to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only way you're going to win this series if you get all the calls. So he's lobbying for every one of them is what it seems like.
It is. It reminds me of the guy Musselman in college from Arkansas when he argued about not getting fouls called as well, and that's part of his game. Well, you've got to adjust, right? Like, that's part of it. There are adjustments to be made in the playoffs, and not everything is going to go as you planned it. So the 76ers, along with the Raptors, are having to adjust. I just think I'm biased, but the Sixers are a better team. And when you play them over a long period of time, the Sixers will always come out on top as they are constituted right now.
What do you think about Joel's reaction with the little applause there for the refs? Do you think it flips back a little bit to the Sixers' favor in game 4 or game 5?
It does. And I like his attitude that he was able to laugh it off, kind of, you know what I mean? Move on as opposed to being embittered and having it affect the next play. I thought he closed the book, if you will, on his time in Toronto with that clap, and hopefully we never have to go back.
Certainly. Now I got to ask you about that other guy, Ben Simmons. So another report comes out. I love it. So you've seen the way the guy's dressed. You haven't seen him play. You've just seen him there on the bench. He dunks the basketball in practice. And we're supposed to do a backflip. I don't know. But he's got back soreness again. He's not playing in game 4, according to Woj. Like, what do you even make of it at this point? Like, if you're Kevin Durant, if you're Kyrie Irving, and you're fighting for your playoff life, and this guy's sitting on the sidelines doing nothing but dressing like Homie the Clown, I don't know what you do with this guy.
No, there's not a lot you can do. I can tell you this, Matt. I'm glad he's not in Philly anymore. That's the bottom line, right, Mark? I mean, the fact that he's someone else's problem now, let them worry about all the little details and the idiosyncrasies that are Ben Simmons. That's not our problem anymore. I do feel bad for Andre and for Seth. That picture that they had on social media of all three of them sitting there with those two faces, they say it all. Because the guy to their left is the reason why they're in the situation they're in, and they don't really know what to do to get themselves out of that situation down 3-0. So I just laugh looking back on all the people who said Daryl Morey got fleeced, about how Brooklyn was clearly the better winner of this of the trade.
Right.
Well, look at us now.
Look, there you go. Back to the Sixers for a second here. Doc Rivers has really impressed me in this series against the Toronto Raptors.
He's been great.
I was thinking at the end of the season, wow, I think he's lost this team. It was a classic case of that. Do they need a new voice? And he has pushed all the right buttons, to use that tired cliche. How impressive has he been to you in this first round series?
Incredibly impressive with every move and just the vibe with the squad. It just seems more determined. In other words, they were up there just a week ago in Toronto. And looking at that team and now looking at the team that we were just with, different vibe, different approach, different mentality, and different results subsequently. And I think, you're seeing all of those things because of Doc, because of his temperament, because of the way he handled the stressful situations during the season and kept implementing, putting things in, and just aiming for the end, aiming for the ultimate goal. And we all critiqued and we questioned along the way. That's our job. That's what we're supposed to do. But I don't think we can really question what he's done in this series. Everyone thought he'd be outcoached by Nick Nurse. That hadn't happened either. That timeout at the end to get Joel the shot, that was as clutch as any play during that game. I think he's handled himself incredibly well. And the Sixers, I feel fortunate that he's on our sideline.
Okay. When it comes to Joel Embiid possibly being 80, 85%, 90, I don't know. Who do you think will be the guy? Not should be the guy, because then I think we can all agree it should be James Harden, but who do you think will be the guy that steps up in his struggles if he does in fact struggle?
Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris has been quietly a killer in this series. He may not have had a great second half in game 4, but he was really good in game 3, games 1 and 2. Also, I'm looking for that Tobias Harris come tomorrow night, driving to the basket, being aggressive, and then the other end of the floor defending Siakam like he did in game 3. Tobias Harden too. There's room for him, but I'm looking for Tobias to step up in that little gap tomorrow.
All right, I'm asking everybody this question so I can package it and make a nice big highlight reel of people answering this question for me when the offseason does come upon us. James Harden, is this him for good, or is this just him with a bum hamstring still? What are we looking at when it comes to James Harden at 32 years old right now?
I still think we're going to see some good things out of him. I don't even think he's reached his pinnacle yet. I still think about it. He is still adjusting. He is still trying to figure things out. He is still getting terminology down, where guys want the basketball. He's new here still. Was it 6-7 weeks?
Right,
so
right.
I still think he's going to get better and better. And I'm surprised at how well he's done this early in this kind of a pressure situation. Yeah, he hasn't made all the shots he's taken, but at the same time, double-figure assists, getting guys involved. I thought in game 3, he was huge in the first half. Referees were terrible fouling him out, but at the same time, he's going to step up too. James Harden, he'll deliver.
I have to ask you this. You're a Duke man yourself.
Yes.
The end of the line for Coach K. I know we just had our own end of the line for a guy up here named Jay Wright, but when you think of Coach K, you think of your time there at Duke when you were a Blue Devil, well, always a Blue Devil, I assume. What comes to mind immediately when you think of Coach K?
How important he's been to my life, and how I thought it was just going to be a 4-year relationship that turned out to be a 36-year relationship. He's still in my life. He's the second most important man in my life. And for me, he ain't going anywhere. For you guys, he's not going to be on the sideline, but I still have his number. I know where he lives. I'll see him in May when I go down. He'll always still be a part of my life. So for me, what was supposed to be short turned into a lifelong thing.
He blessed himself at his one of his last press conferences, and my mom was like sure to call me about it. So just let him know Eleanor Farzetta is a big fan. That's all.
Good Catholic boys recognize, right?
Exactly. Alaa, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate you breaking it down for us as per usual, and have a great off season whenever it does come upon us. Enjoy a nice little vacation. You got a birthday coming up too, birthday boy. So congrats on that, my friend. Happy birthday to you, and enjoy the off season.
Thanks so much, Mark. Great to see you, and go Sixers.
Go Sixers. Alaa Abdelnaby joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. I just love talking to that man. He's just such a great guy to talk to. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, about Rothman Orthopedics, and I want to focus on some stuff he said, especially about Tobias Harris. When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about the great people of Winview? Winview is the only game where fans can take out other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the bigger sports fan? If you have those friends or family members who think they know everything about sports, play them in a Winview contest. See if they can walk the walk as well as they talk that talk. Play a little playoff, little NBA playoffs, win some money that way. If you're tracking the games, make sure you're doing it with Winview. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the bigger sports fan? Have yourself a great time with Winview. And how about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? It's phlsportstation.com. Tobias Harris has got to be the guy, according to Alaa Abdelnaby. Not just James Harden, Tobias Harris. Here's what I know. Tobias Harris has been the man defensively for the Sixers in this series. He has played great on that end of the floor. He's been pretty damn good at getting you rebounds as well. But when it comes to everything else, offensively, when it comes to scoring, I need that Toby guy to be up there in the 20-point range. I need the catch and release 3. I need him to knock it down with great consistency, as we have seen in this series, and really since James Harden got here. That's what you'll need from Tobias Harris. I would love to say that James Harden is going to step up and be the guy to get you 25, 30 points, whatever it might be. But I am more confident in consistency when it comes to just scoring and defense in Tobias Harris than I am with James Harden. Because James Harden, as much as he takes it to the rim, I don't think that the refs are going to be looking to make him calls or give him calls. I don't think they're going to be looking to do the same thing with Joel Embiid, regardless of the injury. I think we all realize that Joel Embiid did not do himself any favors by doing the sarcastic clap to the refs after the game. That's not going to put you in favor of the refs in their eyes. But if Tobias Harris continues to play the way he has defensively, hits a shot from the outside, and can drive to the lane as he has been doing as well, had a great coast-to-coast move in Game 4. Want to see more of that. The Sixers are going to be fine. I think that's what's going to happen in Game 5 tonight. I think you're going to see a great game from Tobias Harris, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and I think Joel Embiid has another 20-point game, maybe 10 rebounds as well, just because I think he's going to log a couple of more minutes with them trying to make sure they close out this game tonight. But really, when it comes to consistency going forward, you're going to need those other guys in Maxey, Harden, and then most notably Tobias Harris to step up scoring-wise to make up for what they could lose with Joel Embiid. So hopefully that actually happens tonight. Now let's jump into our chat check brought to you by our good people over there at, what do I have here? I got PHL Sports Station. Let's talk about all the great people in this chat today because you guys are fantastic. April, leading it off. Good morning, April. Kevin, what's going on? Nice to see you. Juan Guapo, what's up, Guapo? Jim Grassmeter, what's going on? Reporter, why did you make JJ a tight end? Nick Sirianni, would you ask Pop that question? Jim, Guapo, I messed up your line. Reporter, why did you make JJ a tight end? Nick Sirianni, would you ask Belichick that question? Well played. That, as much as Doc is doing a great job in the playoffs, that will never lose its stank for me. That will always smell to high heaven. Would you ask Pop that question? Oh, the guy with 5 championships to year 1? Yeah. No, you wouldn't. Agree to disagree. Let's see here. Sean, what's up, Sean? Good morning. Sean, I had the same thought. Duck Rivers is up 3-1. He's Duck Rivers again when it's 3-1. That's where he most notably turns into Duck. Jim Grassmeter, we finally have it. It's draft week. I'll be giving you my draft preview tomorrow, by the way, folks. Looking forward to that. Sean Gillespie, you are not fat, Farzy. Thank you. Actually, by like body mass index, I'm morbidly obese. But anyway, John Cheeseborough, good morning to you. Good morning to Farzy and Society. It's very nice of you. Alyssa, good morning. Joel is a world-class troll, and I'm here for it, says April. April, I mean, this warmed my heart. When I saw it, I was like, he's totally not helping himself, but I love it. And I was like, he's totally applauding the refs, sarcastically. Since you're going to put it away tonight, John, I love your enthusiasm. Those calls were ridiculous. Like for me, what is more egregious than non-calls are the calls in the act of shooting that get called on the floor. Like, this is the NBA, the birthplace of continuation. No, take it on the side. But I was up like this. I went like this, and that's some content. Out of the side, Buster. Ridiculous. Sixers are going to put it away tonight. Let's hope so. Alyssa, we need to applaud Angel Hernandez in that game last night. I never, ever look at officials. Like, I always, like, when it comes to blame, for instance, like, I always argue that I've always been with the argument that it shouldn't be that close to begin with to let an umpire decide a game, like for the final call of a game, whatever it might be, or a referee, or official in any way. It's not, you shouldn't put it in their hands. But sometimes you can't help it. It is. And when it's consistently bad, like it was last night with Angel Hernandez, and both teams are complaining as much, at what point as an ump do you say, you know what, let me go up the tunnel for a second, run that pitch back, let me see if what I think I'm seeing, I'm actually seeing. Because I don't think he's seeing it. Robot umpires, Angel Hernandez. These are the robot umpires that get results. Angel Hernandez. John Cheeseborough, what more does MLB need with Angel Hernandez? I was only able to watch a little bit of the game, and he was brutal. That Schwarber call, even the pitcher knew, yeah, it was a bad call. John, why is tonight at 8 p.m. start time? I don't know, man. I wish I did, but I don't know. Alyssa, I was at the game. It was horrible. That pitch to Segura was too far outside. Outside, inside. Like, Kyle Schwarber was all of us at the end of that ball game. When he was jumping on both sides of the plate, like, I was waiting for the Earl Weaver kicking dirt on the umpire next. Like, it was unbelievable. And that was a game where still getting run as an umpire can light some kind of spark. Like, at least that guy's arguing and screaming and yelling for it. Like, your manager's got your back. I didn't feel like Kyle Schwarber was the guy. Like, it shouldn't have taken Kyle Schwarber in the 9th inning to have that kind of explosion for anybody to get ejected like Kyle Schwarber did. That should have happened a lot earlier to shake things up. People look at it, oh, pitcher's duel. It was a pitcher's duel because the strike zone was the body size of the player itself. Like, to me, it was a pitcher's duel because the umpire was terrible. It affected the entire game. Not that I want to look at Aaron Nola going, 7 scoreless last night, and be like, he was terrible. Because I don't. But he had help. Friend called. Wait, hold on. Is this the... Alyssa, I assume this is the picture you're talking about? My friend called him a human push-up pop. A human push pop. Google it. That is pretty funny. I like that. Ben don't play that at all. He doesn't play anything. That was the Homie the Clown reference, I believe. I'm here. John, I'm hearing In Living Color references. You damn right you are. In Living Color. Yeah, Homie the Clown, man. I remember Homie the Clown was hilarious. I was like in 2nd grade watching Homie the Clown, laughing my ass off, not really getting any of the jokes, but kind of getting the jokes. Oh my God. Angel was brutal last night. Another one, Jim Grasman. You're right. Ben Simmons on the sideline looking like a 500-piece puzzle. And a lot of missing pieces. Let's put it that way. Simmons-isms. Ooh, John Cheeseborough. Somebody put a quarter in the isms machine. Producer Jim's chiming in here. The ball player in me wants to say you need to be swinging at with 2 strikes, but that pitch was unhittable and definitely wasn't a strike. You're damn right. In no era of baseball was that a strike, says Alyssa. Real time, Schwarber had no choice but to show some fire. This time, this team is underachieved, so disappointed. What are they, 6-10 now? Joe needed to do something. He absolutely did. Real time, Joe was too late. He should have been as players back. Absolutely agree. Mullet. Angel Hernandez respectfully quit. All right. I get you there. Sorcery? What, we got sorcery going on in the chat now? Pro or con? Pro or con, robot umpires? I am now pro. And you know what? I want it to look like a robot too. I don't just want them to cut away to the ball, strike. I want to see a robot. Damn it. I want to see a T-1000. That's what I want to see. April. Reggie Miller. Oh, yeah. Reggie Miller did go off on Ben Simmons last night. I had the tweet. I don't have it right now, but yeah, basically called out Ben Simmons for not giving a damn about his team, pretty much. Real time. I don't think Maxi's wait, hold on. What? Stop jumping around. Not you, me. I don't like how Maxi be quiet in the first halves. He's unguardable. He should be attacking Van Vliet. That's Farzi shirt is sponsored by Men's Warehouse. This is an Express Men, actually. Thank you. Yeah, I was shocked it took this long for someone to mention a new shirt. Finally got some new shirts in. Anybody here else? Van Vliet's injury. Yeah, I think he fights through. I heard about that hip injury. I do hate John. I hate Fred Van Vliet. Like, hate's a strong word. I sports hate Fred Van Vliet. It's just annoying as all hell. Like, he's not supposed to be good. You look at that guy, you're like, who are you? Wichita State, not drafted, get out of here. And he's like hitting threes. Sushi, what's up, Sushi? Welcome. Farzy chest hair sponsored by Supercuts. Is it peeking out? Is it saying hello? Is it saying hello? Is it? Hi. Real time. Are you looking at my plunging neckline again? Let's see here. Sean Gillespie, BMI is bull. Did you see that Joker got pulled off the floor last night against the Warriors? Now, the Nuggets won, but they took Joker off the floor. The counter argument to pulling him off the floor is that they were playing small ball. They were playing with a smaller lineup, the Warriors were. But I can't remember a time Joel Embiid was ever taken out of a game for defensive. You know, I'm just saying as all to the people that want to talk about how much better Joker is. Yeah, Embiid doesn't come off the floor. That doesn't happen. April, Hernandez is equal opportunity hot garbage. Yes, he is. Especially last night in particular. It was Angel Hernandez that was doing the yoga stretches, right? In the outfield, was it Saturday night? And they're like, they're looking live at Angel Hernandez doing yoga stretches. Okay. I think Van Vliet's playing tonight. Inside but outside the strike zone. Sorry. Yeah. Angel Hernandez is the equivalent of, what the hell is that smell? This is great. Oh, Sixers still 8.5-point favorite tonight. There you go. That's nice. Yeah, I think they close it out tonight. I don't think it's a blowout. I wish it was, but I don't think that happens tonight. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are fantastic as per usual. Much appreciated. let's move on now to our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Mentioned it already. We got an earlier start time today for the Phillies, 6:45 start time. So you can watch Kyle Gibson throw against Kyle Freeland at 6:45. Then 8 o'clock tip-off tonight. 76ers take on the Raptors. Game 5, and hopefully the final game of this series. And the Sixers are allowed to rest for a little bit after this. Here's what I'm looking for tonight. I love what Alaa said about Tobias Harris. This is what I told you. I would love to see one of them big games. I would love for Joel Embiid to be nothing more than a safety valve in this game. They've talked already about how he can't make the injury worse. That's fine. He's going to learn how to work with the pain and work with what he is limited with right now because of the injury. He's going to learn to do that, I think, over time. He doesn't have a lot of time to do it by any means, but I think he's going to learn to do it over time. I don't think he needs to do it in Game 5 for the Sixers to survive this series, finish it off, and advance to the second round of the playoffs again. What I think you need to see from the Sixers in order to do that, Tobias Harris' defense needs to stay exactly the same. Tyrese Maxey's offensive game needs to be a hell of a lot more aggressive. I think in this game you're going to be seeing a lot of James Harden yelling at Tyrese Maxey, attack the rim, get after it, get fouled, go to the line, get them in foul trouble, whatever it might be. And I think you're going to see James Harden hit a couple of those step-back threes and make us all feel warm and fuzzy. But I think when it comes to consistency, I don't think we're going to get that from Joel Embiid tonight. I hope I'm wrong. And if he goes out there tonight and absolutely balls out with 31 points and 15 rebounds and absolutely dominates, I will be more amazed with Joel Embiid than ever if he's able to do that in this particular game with the injury that he has right now. But I think when it comes to consistency, you're going to have to rely on Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey to be your scorers. I need to see that aggressive up-tempo Tobias Harris. If he gets the ball, push, go for the coast-to-coast, go for the 2 points that way. I need to see him also sitting out on the perimeter, waiting for that kick out from James Harden or Tyrese Maxey or even Joel Embiid. And then Tobias Harris gets the catch and release, knockdown 3. And then the forgotten soldier, Matisse Thybulle. If the Raptors start getting hot from the perimeter, substitution, here comes Matisse Thybulle trying to shut down what's going on the outside. In the meantime, the guy's going to be in the starting 5 again tonight, Danny Green, has to hit that corner 3 that he's almost always open for. That has to have great consistency tonight. Do the Sixers have to be clicking on all cylinders, really, to beat the Raptors tonight? No, they don't. But they need to play to at least their potential. Their potential without Joel Embiid being anything close to 100%. Because if there's any major takeaway from Game 4's performance, it's that Joel Embiid is not at all close. As I said earlier, maybe even 75%. But I'm willing to take that just to have his presence on the floor because you saw how much of an impact that had. Guys, we're still triple teaming him, despite the fact he was playing with one hand. If they're going to continue to do that, that's where your guys on the outside, your kick-out guys, have to be there, available, and ready to knock down those threes. They do that with consistency, this game will be a blowout. If they don't, it'll be a battle to the fourth quarter. Sixers will come out on top, and they'll advance to the next round. That's what I want to see, though, tonight. I need to see those guys pick up Joel Embiid for as a guy that is not going to be anything, like I said, close to 100%. Maxey, I'm going to be looking at. Tobias Harris, I'm going to be looking at. James Harden, Danny Green, all of them. Paul Reed knocked out a couple threes for yourself. Why don't you? But that's what it's all going to come down to tonight. I think the Sixers win this game tonight. I'm going to go with a score of 98-90. Don't cover, unfortunately, but they win. So hopefully that'll be the case for the Sixers tonight. Oh, yes, Jim. Alyssa got me the right song. Sorry. The song I was singing wrongly, and I told you wrongly, Rio, is the Lido Shuffle by Boz Scaggs. Thank you, Alyssa. Appreciate that. And yes, it's been playing nonstop in my house, and now Lil Toots sings Leo with me, which is hilarious. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Jim Hyde, producer the program, did a phenomenal job as per usual. This is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. This is the Farzy Show, coming to you live every day from 6 to 7 from the Steven Singer studio. And the Farzy Show is presented by Destination Retirement, DestinationRetirement.com. Email my man Mike Seibert for all your retirement needs at Go Birds at destination 1847financial.com. That's Go Birds at 1847financial.com. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Go Sixers. And hey, go Phils too. Let's get a win for those guys. See you guys. Take it easy.